Everybody still awake? Okay. Hold on to your checkbooks now, because we want to give you something that's of real interest here. By the way, I want to thank Chris Hessler, before I begin, for his beginning remarks where he said that there were young people running around the valley with new ideas. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate being included in that grouping. Thank you very much. Liza and the rest of the committee, thank you very much. My name is Frank Fanning, as they've told you. I'm here to introduce to you TriLipid Research Institute, and we are the manufacturers of a product called Trilipiderm. I'm sure you've seen Trilipiderm. It's been throughout the valley. I'm sure you've tried it. Well, I'm not sure if you all tried it, but I want you all to try it. And after this presentation, as you're getting your cocktails, you'll certainly have a chance to get a free sample and try it out. Fortunately, we don't have much sun to protect you from, but we'll do that in the future. Okay, what do our products do? Make sure I know how to work this. Right there. Okay, thank you. Okay, so what we do is we prevent and alleviate dry skin. Now, everybody's got dry skin. I don't care what age you are. I don't care where you are. You have some form of dry skin. You might start just feeling your own skin right now. See if it flakes off. You never know. In this climate, it's a very difficult problem to deal with. In addition, we provide an additional product to which we add sunscreens and vitamin D. Now, we're not going to have an all-night session on the technology behind these products, because therefore you'll never get to the cocktail hour and you'll never get out of here. But just keep these things, two things in mind. We are addressing skin care problems, and that is our function in life. Let's talk about our industry. The cosmetic industry, of which we're a part, is a $200 billion business on a worldwide basis. In the United States, that industry is $60 billion. And in the segments on which we're competing, that industry in the United States is $22 billion. I want you to keep this thought in mind, especially that $22 billion figure, because when we get to what our progression is in sales, we're going to relate that number to how much of the industry we have to capture in order to achieve our goals. Okay, our audience. We are a multi-gendered audience, we're a multi-racial audience, and we look for a household income of approximately $50,000 to be able to routinely use our products in that household. Come on. Thank you. You went too fast for me back there, Stephen. Okay. And finally, our outlets. We market primarily through boutiques, salons, spas, medical offices, and apothecaries. That's where we're looking to sell our products, okay? Let's talk about our team. Okay, it's me, and I've got 40 years experience in this business. And what I did before I moved to Jackson, Wyoming to ostensibly retire is I had a cosmetic company in Chicago. And what we made was ingredients for the cosmetic industry. We supplied the magic stuff that eliminated wrinkles, etc. And our client base was people like Procter & Gamble, L'Oreal, Avon, etc. All the typical large companies that you're aware of. And I sold that company about 4 years ago to a publicly traded corporation. Came out here to retire, tried my hand at an improved golf game, was told by a pro that it's never going to improve, tried my hand at improved skiing, was wiped out by a couple of snowboarders, and I said, that's it. No point in retiring in Jackson, let's go back into business. And of course, because I was handcuffed in the sale of my company, I said, I'm going to go back into competition with these guys, because they didn't do it right anyhow, even though they made $200 billion business. I figured we could do better. All right. So my cohort in this is a gentleman by the name of Alan Wallman. Now, who's Alan? Alan is a very prestigious scientist, graduate with PhD from Princeton University. He tells me at one time he even studied a little bit under Einstein. That'll give you a little bit of his age. And Alan was my chief technical officer in the previous company. And he also, when we sold the company, he was also handcuffed. So living out here, and he lives in the Chicago area, I was exposed to your dry skin conditions. And I said, Alan, why don't we come out with a product that can really solve skincare problems and not worry about cost? So we did, and that was the evolution of Trilipiderm. Assisting us now in the organization is the youth, because obviously, even though Chris attests to the fact that I've got many years left, the reality is we needed youth in the organization. So our manager of operations, Nate Levinson. Nate, stand up, please. Okay. We also have a director of sales called Zach Barnett. We wouldn't let him here today because he's a salesman. He should be out selling. We don't want him on a podium, okay? Michael Fames, resident here of the community, big background as creative director at various advertising agencies. And then because we're committed to the Jackson area, and because we're following the dictates of what Bob talked about earlier, i.e. the ecosystem out here in business, we use and rely upon a lot of local agencies. So we use Terra Communications, maybe you're familiar with them. They do our social media, we do Open Creative to do our design work, and finally, all of our logistics work and fulfillment is done by a company called FBN. Okay. Here's where we get into a little bit of the science, right? If you're in the business of cosmetics, you ought to know a little bit about skin. So I just want to say that skin is composed of 3 layers. You're going to love this when you go to cocktail parties in the future. Here's my skin. Did you know I had 3 layers? Okay. 3 layers: epidermis, dermis, hypodermis. And we work in the primary layer of what we call the epidermis region, which is the upper region of the skin. And the mantle of that is called stratum corneum. Now, I want you all to make sure we're going to have a test after this. But anyhow, all skin cell structure is the same. Doesn't make any difference whether you're white, black, red, or yellow. Skin cell structure is the same, and skin cell structure is composed of water, lipids, as we call them, consisting of cholesterol. Most people don't like cholesterol. You better have it in your skin if you're going to have good skin metabolism. Cholesterol esters, ceramides, you've heard of ceramides, and what we call long-chain fatty acids. So why is this important? Well, let's just think about this logically. If we're going to prevent problems in the skin, we ought to use ingredients that actually are already present in the skin cell structure or can mimic the skin cell structure. Think of it this way. You have a car, it rides on gasoline. If you take diesel fuel and put it into your gasoline engine, what happens? The car may run a little bit, it's not going to run as well, and eventually you're going to ruin the engine. That's the same thing that we use as our principle when we formulate skincare products. Put back into the skin cell structure ingredients that either mimic or are the same as the skin cell structure itself. And hence we use some very unique ingredients. You will not find these ingredients used in this combination any place in the world. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it other than to say a product that we called Estelide, which we pioneered, by the way, in my former company, that duplicates ceramides. A product called Lactone gives you the esters that are necessary for skin cell structure. A product called phytosterols, which are plant-derived, imitates and duplicates cholesterol. And these wild names here, Abyssinian and Meadowfoam, these are oils that are unique. They're grown here in the United States, and they give us the long-chain fatty acids to the skin cell structure. Anybody have any questions yet? Don't ask me. We only have 10 minutes. Okay. Here's the effect of all of this. All right? This is what we call before and after. We love this. The industry loves this kind of stuff. So what we're looking at here, and you'll have to come up later on outside or here, we'll show you this closer. You won't believe it, but that actually is a elbow. Okay? It's a woman's elbow. And the slide on the left is untreated. All right? That's dry skin. The slide in the center is one application of TriLipiderm, and the slide on your right is a 10-day treatment of using 1 application a day. Now, if that's not proof positive, We're going to show you some faces. Oh, I love these. We can spend hours on this kind of stuff, but you're going to see the same effect actually if you come closer to me. After this, we'll show you more blow-ups. And finally, the most impressive one that we like here is where we show it on the heels of the feet, okay? You've been out hiking, right? The feet, the back of the ankle is abraded, it's dry, it hurts. So you use a little Trilipiderm in one treatment. You see the center slide, it's alleviated. In 10 treatments, you're back to normal. We love it, and I think you will too. Okay, let's talk about love. The result of all this technology and all this work has resulted in sales. Well, isn't that great? Okay. We have over 200 retailers right now in the marketplace carrying both of our products. Nate warned me about pressing the button at this particular point. Thank you, Nate. We have internet sales primarily nationally. We have distributors set up nationally, and we're establishing more every single month. And the key point is we have customer satisfaction. 90% based upon our polling of customers and retailers. That, for those of you who may have a background, and I know there's someone in the audience from Procter & Gamble, you would probably attest that a 90% achievement on a product, a retail product and for the consumer marketplace is outstanding. That's all because of the science we put behind this product. What's our strategy? Strategy is very simple. We're going to build the brand. How are we going to do that? Come on, guy. There we go. We're going to go through science and advanced formulations, through social media, through marketing and PR, through trade shows and events, advertising, in-home shopping. We're going to be on Shop NBC. I want you to tune in on August 28th. I'll send you the time if you ask for it. I want you to see it. Oh, I'm getting the finger over here too. Okay, and finally, celebrity endorsements, of which we have several. Okay, so what are we looking for? We're looking for a capital raise of $1 million. This chart up here shows you how we're going to spend the $1 million. I'm only going to point out two things in this chart. One, that there are several areas of importance, but they're all equally important. That is, we're going to spend it on further PR. We already have a contract waiting in the wings for a major New York company to do our PR. And we're going to launch a new product. That product has been formulated. It is now in what we call focus studies, working with our advisory group. So that's where the $1 million is going to go. We're not building any brick and mortar. We're not building any plants. What does this all mean? All right, at the end, in 5 years, we're going to sell the brand. What do we feel as if we're going to achieve in sales in 5 years? We're going to achieve, magic number, $15 million in sales. We work at a 60% gross profit margin. We calculate that the sale of the brand will bring someplace around 4 times either gross or 10 times, I said 4 times gross, 10 times the actual sales itself. That's not unusual in our business. We have comparables for that. And we're projecting that the return on investor money will be about 14.5 times your investment. So, what do we have? Summary. We have proven product, proven team, and proven traction. So we ask you to consider this for an investment, and if there are any questions, be happy to take it right now. Thank you.